Hello and welcome to another episode of Better Cocktails at Home. I'm Brian Johnson and we're here in our home bar, the Quarter Deck Club, and we're making, in this episode, the third drink in our Drinks of Hemingway series. So drinks that kind of all revolved around Hemingway in some fashion, whether he drank them or he wrote about them or he made them for people or he created them. So in this episode, we're gonna make a version of the drink that he's probably most famously connected to, and that's a version of the Daiquiri. Specifically, the Hemingway Special is served at the Floridita bar in Havana, Cuba, in around the late 30s or so. And so we're gonna make it, and then this is different from the Papa Doble, which is another style of Daiquiri that he's associated with. This one's a little bit different in style, and so it's a little smaller, not quite such a large drink. So we're going to make it right now, and we're going to talk about it on the other side. So let's get started. So this Daiquiri is a rum-based cocktail. I would have loved to use like a Havana Club 3-year, kind of a light rum like that. But I don't have access to that readily, so I'm using Plantation's 3-Star here, another light rum. We're going to do 2 ounces of this. And we'll add that in. Next up, I'm going to add maraschino. Now, the original recipe calls for a teaspoon. A teaspoon is... it's under a 1/4 ounce, around 1/8 of an ounce, so it's not a lot. It's just a small amount, so maybe a large dash, if you will, but not a lot. So we'll add that. And then next up, the original recipe calls for 1/2 a lime. And so what does that mean? We've already talked about that, and old recipes, half is, this is kind of a small lime. Bigger limes make more juice, so what does that mean? Usually I figure around a lime makes about 1 ounce, 1 lime. So for 1/2 a lime according to recipe, we're going to shoot for about 1/2 an ounce or so. So for instance, this half of this lime gave me just about a 1/4 ounce. So it's a natural product, so things are going to vary. So you really have to kind of decipher what ratios you like personally, what may have been used historically, that kind of thing. So I'm going to strain this now because you'll see why we're not going to strain this drink later. All right, so there's that. Next up, we have grapefruit juice. So this one doesn't call for very much. Again, the original calls for a teaspoon, so we're talking a very small amount. And so grapefruits can be kind of hard to juice without a specific kind of juicer. But if you kind of cut them down to 1/8, you can get them into kind of your standard elbow juicer pretty easily. So we're going to do not a lot. Like I said, it's about 1/8 of an ounce or so. Not a ton. And then we'll strain that. All right. So those are all of our liquid ingredients. And next we're going to be adding our ice. Now the ice called for, this style of drink is called for frappe style. So frappe uses finely crushed ice to kind of chill the drink and to serve it really with ice in the cocktail itself. So I've got some nice like pebble ice here. So what I'm going to do is, if I didn't want to go the extra mile, I could probably use this and it'd be okay. But I'm going to try to get a better crush on this pebble ice by putting in what's called a Lewis bag. So a Lewis bag is pretty much a cloth bag that you can kind of seal up gently, and then you can pound it with a mallet, a wooden muddler in my case right now, but it really allows you to kind of really finely crush the ice. And then at the same time, the canvas bag soaks up any little ice, so it creates a really dry ice, and it's really nice for your cocktail. So this is kind of getting down there. That'll be good. So now when you see how it's going to come out, you'll be able to kind of easily see. So now I'm going to add this to our mixing tin. So you kind of see it's like much finer crush. More like a snow cone type ice. All right. We're going to do that. And now we're going to shake this. All right, so instead of straining this, we are going to just pour this straight in. So this is frappe style. So I even wish that my ice was a little bit finer than it is, but that's okay. It'll still be amazingly delicious and ice cold. So that cocktail is, like I said, very cold. You get the rum coming through. The grapefruit's a really subtle fruit, citrusy note, not really because it's such a small amount. Same with the maraschino. So maraschino has a little funk taste to it to me, and it just kind of helps to bring some fullness of flavor, but it's a very rum-forward cocktail, very just kind of bracing, if you will, in some ways. And so yeah, this cocktail is straight out of Hemingway's past. He would have been going to the Floridita and ordering these and sitting at the bar and drinking them. Like I said, 1930s, late 30s, early 40s. And so this is just a truly classic Hemingway cocktail. And it's really, if you look at the recipe, as it was originally printed in one of the old Floridita bar recipe guides, they actually spelled his name wrong. So they spelled it, I think it was Henmiway, so very far off. But having a son named Hemingway, we also experienced a lot of spelling errors because people, for some reason, put 2 M's instead of just 1. And so, yeah, I can see why the spelling errors has happened and everything else. But it's a delicious daiquiri cocktail, and I can't wait for you to make it. And thanks for watching Better Cocktails at Home.